What's going on, everybody? Welcome to your daily astrology horoscope for Wednesday, October 30th, 2024. Astrologer Brian Scarborough here, fixed air moon, keeping the collective fixed on astrology. I appreciate you all so much. I hope your week's going well so far. We got a dark moon. We're closing up a lot of the eclipse lunations with this dark moon, of course, that's going to be entering a new moon in Scorpio, but it's this dark moon in Libra, closing out that Libra solar eclipse. So happy hump day. Hope everybody's doing well as we get ready for Halloween tomorrow. Hope that's exciting for some people too. I know it's probably one of my favorite holidays. I don't know. It's just one of those, like, I don't celebrate that many holidays. Halloween's pretty fun though. Anyways. Well, that moon in Libra is definitely trying to close out a lot from the new moon, right? It's definitely trying to understand emotionally relationships. It's trying to understand our balance, the give and take of life. And I do think it's very, like, sort of karmic and destined right now, coming off a Libra eclipse with a south node, that, like, you're seeing where you've been giving too much without receiving enough, or where you've been receiving too much without giving enough. And whether, whatever that is towards in terms of relationships is going to be unique to everybody, but it could definitely be with relationships to other people. It could be with jobs. It could be with a lot of different things that we do. So keeping those things in mind, we do see some good aspects to the moon. We do see a trine over to Jupiter, retrograde in Gemini. And I think that this is, definitely positive in terms of, like, realizing certain truths and finding these, deeper understandings about ourselves, being able to express things, get certain things off our chest. It's almost like a deeper understanding to our truth as we're at 7 degrees of Scorpio season, and Mercury's, of course, dispositing Jupiter, and at 25 degrees, starting to sextile over to Pluto, and also starting to trine over to Neptune. So there's, like, a lot of, like, sort of deep spiritual understandings of truth. We could be, like, forming new relationships to our own truth in many ways, and what feels good and what we expect or want out of other people, what we expect or want or need out of ourselves. And we want to, like, definitely, like, quiet things down enough as best we can right now to kind of, like, really take in and feel what we know is going to bring more curiosity, that we can explore, that will provide more embetterment, empowerment, and things that we can identify with when it comes to how we relate ourselves to everything outside of ourselves in our lives. The moon also starts off the day with a really nice sextile over to Venus. Venus is starting to oppose Jupiter. So, again, like, just how we're forming relationships right now, and how we're expanding things, and what we can learn from our reflections in other people, what we can learn from the feedback that we get from just everything outside of ourselves. I think that it can really provide a big value to see where we're growing, to see where the expanse is taking place, and ultimately, like, what we need to hone in on. And there's also sort of this need, I feel like, as we start to see Jupiter oppose Venus and Jupiter come into this opposition more, is, like, almost like trying to overdo it, especially with Venus in Sagittarius, like trying to prove some kind of value or self-worth, or kind of, like, overdo something or force some kind of opinion or truth. We don't want to necessarily do that. It's just, like, finding ours and believing in it because we know that it's going to provide more value, and kind of sticking to that, but being open to the information that we can learn through this feedback. So we're in quite a little feedback loop right now as we close out October. And what's the feedback looking like? And I think, being that it's Scorpio season and Mercury being aspected the way it is right now, being able to really penetrate into, like, what's going on in the loop, and is this loop a good one? Are we starting a new cycle and seeing a positive feedback loop, or are we seeing a negative feedback loop? And are we willing to transmute what isn't working without being too passive, but also without being too aggressive, but really finding that midpoint of kind of just sticking to your guns and knowing how to speak from your heart, how to speak from a place of I want to do better in life. I want to understand more in life, and that's on me. And I don't need to constantly be in projection of others because, well, Mars opposite Pluto, we're going to be in this for the next couple days. As Mars is getting ready to come into Leo, which I'll be honest, the month about that Mars is going to be in Leo before it stations retrograde is definitely like get things handled, because it's just coming back into Cancer, and it's going to retrograde at 6 degrees of Leo on December 6th. So need to, ironically, that's my grandma's birthday. She passed away years back, but she gets a Mars retrograde on her solar return. Just having to really find balance here between the passions, needs, wants, desires of others and our own emotional wants, needs, and desires, and kind of be able to get things handled for what we really want to create in life as Mars comes into Leo and then does go retrograde with a Mercury retrograde, and we'll still have Jupiter retrograde. Saturn will be direct, of course, but it's the end of the year is kind of wonky, and like we're going to see a lot of sort of backtracking and slowdown. So it doesn't have to be pedal to the metal by any means right now, but we definitely want to use energy when we can get it. And I think that we're starting to see energy kind of ramp up, and the mind can be a little foggy on the complete clarity of it with Mercury trining Neptune, but definitely use your intuitive insights here and like what feels right, and be able to kind of use that to understand more clearly what you want to put your attention into and what you're identifying. So be on the lookout for how we're relating right now. I would say that's the big thing, is like, what are our reactions to different things outside of ourselves? Are they positively helping us, or do we feel like we're in a negative feedback loop? And I think if you're able to identify that with the moon opposing Chiron today, it's definitely going to help you find balance and understanding about how you're letting maybe other people get under your skin, other situations that you can't control get under your skin, especially with Mars opposite Pluto. What is penetrating your being and making you feel uncomfortable, And can you identify that and make the necessary adjustments, start and initiate conversation, adapt to your surroundings, your truth, and also be able to, delineate and express your truth to others so that they can better understand where you're at. You can find a lot of like healing and empowerment right now, but it can also be a little confusing. We could still be a little tired with Mars still in that trine to Neptune also, and a little bit of grand trine energy building up, of course, with Mercury here starting to trine Mars as well. But that's definitely a little louder. So I think we're starting to see a little bit more pickup here, and I would say with this new moon coming in Scorpio that, especially at a 9 degrees, which is where it'll be, that's a very Martian number, 9. It's very like action oriented, but also kind of closing out of things. So definitely seeing where to take some action right now, and where the journey's going, what's expanding, and what kind of a loop are we in. That's the biggest thing I think we need to realize on this hump day, is what loop are we in? Is it positive or negative? And can we initiate to keep positive loops looping, or to get out of negative feedback loops that we're seeing around us also? Card for the day is the Moon Reverse. Yeah, I think it's a volatile, emotional day, and this can definitely kind of, just make people uneasy, worried, scared, fearful in some way. I think that we need to like kind of embrace the changes of the chapter that's started already from the solar eclipse a month ago, and like really be willing to trust our intuition, and to trust just what what is coming up. It could be some creepy crawly stuff. It could be a little weird. It could feel a little dark. feel a lot of things, and we don't want to hide from that. We want to embrace sort of what we're feeling to initiate the next action and to kind of be able to come full circle and create better feedback loops in our life. That's the big thing today. So yeah, trust how things are feeling in your life. It's giving you more clarity than, maybe just some mental, thought that we're having, but like the feeling mixed with the thought and what you want to do with that. Listen to that and don't be afraid of it. I love you all very much. Have a beautiful Wednesday. I'll see you all for Halloween. Mañana. Much love. Peace.